The pharmaceutical industry has been pushing several new blockbuster drugs that they say can help people lose weight fast. And like other treatments we've seen over the years, these promises come with a price, and that is death and really serious injury. Patients are now reporting cases of stomach paralysis over taking drugs from like Ozempic, and there could be more reports on the way. We've been watching, our law firm's been watching this case pretty closely. We handled the FinFin case, which is literally thousands of women died from this FinFin drug. We handled the opioid case where tens of thousands of people died. And it all came down to one thing, just like we're seeing here. Doctors are not telling these patients the dangers of this product. I just basically have finished the opioid litigation. The last part of it is still in the works. But what we found there is doctors didn't stay up to speed with the literature. They got busy and they couldn't see that all this nonsense that they were told from the beginning was just a lie. Same thing here, same thing with FinFin. Every time I've seen it, it's because somebody's lied on clinical data. Management has overlooked bad clinical data. They've done a computation, Farron, and here it is. We're making $10 billion. If we kill this many people, it's only going to cost us $2 billion. So we're $8 billion ahead. That is what we call the Gould transition, the Gould calculation. That's what's happening here, I promise you.
Yeah, and with BP, it was the three little pigs was the scenario they used.
Yeah.
So what we've got here is Ozempic, Wegovy, massive report comes out, say these women are now reporting stomach paralysis. Several of them have been officially diagnosed. Some have not yet been. But what it does is these drugs that are originally, Ozempic specifically, for diabetes, and it did well with diabetes. But then the company started noticing, well, wait a minute, these folks are losing weight. That's a good thing. Okay, maybe instead of just a diabetes blockbuster, we may have ourselves a weight loss blockbuster. Weight loss drugs are the holy grail of the pharmaceutical industry. If you can make a medicine that can make people lose weight without killing them or hurting them, that's their holy grail.
And if you go, people watching this show right now, if you go and you ask 10 women, are you taking Ozempic? If they tell you the truth, 3 of them are going to be taking Ozempic if they're trying to lose weight. It is just so ubiquitous. And look, doctors understand, it's all about immediate result, right? You're overweight. Okay, Mary, we'll take Ozempic. Well, why don't you look into what the science is on this? It's bad science from the very beginning. You've got this JLP. It's called a GLP-1, I think it is. It's a hormone that's in the body. And what it does is it tells your body to slow down digestion, because if you don't slow it down, you won't get the nutrients you need out of the food, right? So what this does, what they've done is engineered their own manufactured hormone kind of result. And the difference is when you took a look at it, it's best thing I can tell you, this is very clear. They did a placebo test, and then they did a test with people that are clearly taking Ozempic. And it took 70 minutes for the digestion process to take place. It took 4 minutes for the regular digestion to take place. And what it's causing is paralysis of the gut. It's causing paralysis of the stomach, right?
Yeah, and it's actually kind of interesting because, as per usual, we already see big pharma and the medical industry, their PR spin is out there saying, well, these women could have had slow stomachs to begin with.
Yeah.
They are already on the front end of this, trying to paint it as, these women already had problems. They were never diagnosed, but they probably had these problems. So we're already seeing their defense be crafted in the media. But it could be because this is early. We do not know if there's a full, cause effect. It could be these women are very unlucky. I mean, that is what one of the doctors said, but it could be this drug is doing it.
Well, look, you can go to any university, Harvard, Yale, Princeton. I don't care where you go, Georgetown, the most elite universities. And you can say to a scientist that's working there or a professor that is an expert in a particular area, would you say this for me? Would you please lie to the American public for me? And they'll say, well, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost $1 million to $2 million. That's typically what they have to end up paying. But then these doctors they're just charlatans. I mean, they're frauds. They create this literature, and the literature is always based on we can't know. Understand? That's their safest position. Well, we don't really know. There's not enough information, there's not enough epidemiology to tell us that this is the problem. And they do that, Farron, because they understand that if they delay the knowledge, during the period of time they're delaying that knowledge, it may be 3-4 years, the company they're working for that gave them the $1 million to say that is making billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And so the company's making billions. They're saying, well, when this is all over, we may have to pay out $2-3 billion. And it's still a good business decision. So it's called an interruption. These experts interrupt the process of science by saying, you know, I'm the best in the world, and I'm telling you, I can't know because there's not enough science.
And it really, as you talked about earlier, it comes down to the doctors too. The doctors are not staying up to speed on this. This information is now widely available. It's been reported. Doctors have no excuse, even if it's not reported. The doctors have a duty to their patients to stay up to speed on this stuff, and their failures can easily lead to deaths or irreparable harm.
It is. You can't just give these doctors a free pass here.
Yeah.
They get literature all the time that tells them, look, this is developing literature. You have a duty to know about it. What ends up happening is they've got this, they call them detailers. They've got it down to real science. They'll have these perky, cutesy little types coming in. Doc, I brought you some cupcakes. Oh, by the way, we have this new product that you can use off-label. Now, Ozempic is for diabetes. It's not for weight loss.
Right.
But you know what, Doc? You might want to try it. You might get a good result. It's called off-label. These people are trained to pitch off-label. They've got it down to real science. It's always a cutesy little deal. Let's have dinner. Let's talk. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting because, doctors, they're in their zone. They're working every day. And then all of a sudden, some perky little cutesy comes in with birthday cake or something like that, and they're friends for life.
Yeah, they say, oh, we have a conference coming up in Bora Bora
Yeah,
over the weekend.
how'd you like to go?
Yeah.
Exactly. We saw that big time with opioids, and it's just disgusting. If you figure 150 people died every day, probably more than that, because the doctors didn't do their job. And it wasn't just about doctors. It was about it's always the company, the head of the awful story. It's always the company. And then they take advantage of the doctors. And it flows from there.